Hi guys, welcome to my new video on the top 4 mistakes people make in training their dogs. We all love our dogs and training them is an essential part for a harmonious relationship with your dogs. However, there are some common mistakes that many people make during the training process. So let's explore them and learn how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, lack of consistency. Dogs thrive on routine and clear communications. Inconsistent commands, gestures, or expectations can confuse them and makes the training much more challenging. One of the most common ones would be pitch. While we love our dogs and they're adorable, they're really cute, high pitching your voice during training doesn't help them understand your commands in a more realistic scenario. For example, would you still be able to have a very high pitch and exciting voice if your dog ran onto a busy road? Unlikely. Instead, always use the same cues and reward positive behavior consistently to reinforce learning. Do not repeat your cues too often either. The cue for sit, it should be just sit. It shouldn't be sit, 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 sit. You get my point. If your dog doesn't do it the first time, just wait a while, wait a couple of seconds, and then ask again. If your dog still doesn't do it, there could be something else that is bothering your dog. Maybe there's too many distractions around, or they haven't been taught sit properly. So I'm quite guilty of this one because initially Blue's name is Blue, as I said many times, but she actually only responds to Bluey because I keep calling her that. There's also inconsistency in rewards. Dogs learn best through positive reinforcement. Inconsistent rewarding can lead to confusion and decreased motivation. So when you're requesting something of your dog and they do it, reward immediately. Don't wait and then reward a couple seconds later because they get confused and they might think that you're rewarding for something else. That's why they don't do what is expected of them. Mistake number 2, punishing instead of redirecting. So, for example, dogs explore their world through their mouths, right? And they might chew on things that they shouldn't. Scolding or punishing them only creates fear and anxiety. Instead, redirect their attention to appropriate toys or things that you assign them to chew and reward them when they chew on those. This reinforces the good behavior. If you haven't taught your dog what is right and what is wrong, and properly reinforced it, how can you expect them to know what is expected of them? All scolding does is it teaches them not to do that particular behavior in front of you. For example, you scold your dog for peeing on the rug. Your dog gets scared, doesn't want to pee in front of you anymore. Then you go and say, my dog doesn't want to pee outside on walks, and I don't know why. That's because you've reinforced that fear of your dog not being able to pee in front of you. And when you leave the house, you go to work, you come home, you find pee in more spots around the house. What you should be doing is rewarding your dog from the start for peeing on walks or peeing in the appropriate places. Mistake number 3, skipping basic training. Some owners see a lot of things on TikTok or social media about really cool things that their dogs can do, and they want to dive straight into those advanced tricks without teaching their dogs basic commands like your sit, stay, or recall. If you fail too much at something, you'll lose motivation. The same goes for our dogs. Instead, start with your basics, start with your fundamental commands that will lay the groundwork for more advanced training in the future. This also improves your dog's overall obedience and a willingness to participate in training with you. Mistake number 4, ignoring socialization. Dogs are social creatures and they need positive interactions with other dogs and people. Some owners tend to only keep their dogs in their home. This actually builds up a lot of stress in your dogs and they tend to develop a negative association with anything outside of their house. Your dog might not actually be aggressive, but just socially awkward. They've not been taught how to socialize well or behave in a particular scenario. Instead, expose your dog to various environments, people, and animals to help them develop better social skills and prevent behavioral issues. So remember, training your dog requires a lot of patience, consistency, and positive reinforcement. You should avoid these common mistakes, and you'll be building a strong, loving bond with your furry companion. If you do encounter specific challenges with your dog's training along the way, consult a professional. Fraser and myself will be going live this Wednesday, the 26th at 8 p.m. local Singapore time for a Ask Us Anything session. Until then, happy training.